0 point is how the world changes. It's the creation, it's a spark inside everybody. It's the only way the world can move forward is Christ consciousness moving in.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Lucy Davis, and I'm like the light and the dark today. Complete polarity, ladies and gents. And I am joined by one of my favourite people on the planet today, Mr. Kevin Wright. Woo! Kev, my love, how are you? How's things going?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me on.
You're feeling like really high vibration today. I'm liking it a lot.
I am. It's been a good weekend. It's been a good week. It's good energies about. It's very high vibrational time.
Changes afoot, my friend, isn't it? Changes afoot. It's happening. It's happening, whether people like it or not. It's happening, and thankfully, we are leaping and bounding to a much more pleasurable timeline, if you ask me. And I'm going to be doing a video on timelines over the next, probably again today. So I will do that a little bit later. But before we step into that, talking of timelines, this Sunday coming, Sunday the 12th of November, Soul School is back with a bang. After all this work I've been doing the last few weeks, we are meeting on Sunday. Kevin, are you going to be there, my love?
I am. Wouldn't miss it for the world, to be honest.
They're a game changer, right? They're an absolute game changer.
One of the most amazing days anyone will experience when they go there.
Yeah. How do you feel about this time? Because obviously when you came to Manchester, it was a 2-day one. How do you think you're going to feel with it just being 1 day? Hard done by?
Yeah, the way energy is now, it's 1 day will be absolutely plenty. It's people, just the way people will be when they sit in the energies and they're surrounded by so many like-minded people. It's the shifts that it creates. It's next level shifts that it creates in the. It's
a game changer. I'm grinning from ear to ear because I know what's coming, and so many people are trusting, and they're flying in from America and flying in from Finland and flying in from Spain and all of these places all around the world. And I'm like, because they know, their soul just knows that they need to be there. So I'm super excited about it. It kicks off at 11 a.m. on Sunday morning. Now, just to be very, very clear, tickets come off sale on Friday, the 10th of November. I think I might have said that it was the 9th of November. Maybe it is the 9th of November. Basically, in the next couple of days, the tickets go off sale. So if you want to come along, act quickly and get it done. And we shall see you there on Sunday. Now, you and I have been having some extremely profound conversations over recent weeks, Kev, haven't we? We have been talking, oh my God, we have the most profound conversations anyway, first and foremost. But the reason I wanted to invite you to join this chat today, because I knew that I needed to do a conversation in this, but I asked you to join because your knowledge, first and foremost, is absolutely phenomenal. And secondly, like between the two of us, we speak very differently. And I don't mean accents. I just mean we speak very differently. And some people will get it off of what you say, and some people will get it what I say. So I like to balance things out as best as possible. So this video today, we are at 0 point. So Kev, I'm going to start with you because I do way too much talking. What are we talking about with 0 point? Like, what is 0 point? How can people understand or gain some understanding on
that? 0 point is, well, 0 point's everything. It goes from Tesla's 369 theory. It builds through an unlimited energy source to explaining why the pyramids and the structures are in the world. But 0 point is how the world changes. It's in the symbology all through time. It's a limitless energy. It's source creation energy. And it's by harnessing the power of the 0 point, what we're moving into, is how you end up developing peace on earth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, like in my language, Lucy language, it's essentially Christ consciousness. It's past, present, future being merged into one, and Christ consciousness. And the reason we've always been living in it, but the reason we haven't been able to get there is because of all the distractions, or what I call distractions: life, marriage, kids, work, sex, drugs, rock and roll, alcohol, like all of these things, all of this, you know, just everything that distracts us and takes us away from ourselves. So it's very much about it's very much about the peace within, isn't it, Kev?
It is. It's, you said the best then, because when you find your own 0 point, it's, I've always said, if there's no peace in your heart, there'll be no peace in your house. If there's no peace in your house, there'll be no peace in your street. And then if no peace in your street, no peace in your city.
I
And
love
eventually
that.
it spreads out all around the world.
I love that. That's really beautiful.
So it boils down to if everybody finds their own inner peace, their own 0 point, it's the individual changing the world. Because as we've said many times, nobody's going to come flying in on a magic carpet to save the world. It's down to the individual person themselves. If everyone changes themselves and find peace, eventually there'll be peace in the world.
I actually want to come back to that point about saviors. So let's come back to that. I think it's very, very, this savior complex thing, this waiting for a savior, this, we need to talk about that. And I love when I speak to men, because obviously I have a higher feminine energy, and you are an amazing example of the divine masculine. So I think it's actually going to be a really, really interesting conversation when we get there. But before we do, when you said about, if there's no peace in your heart, there's not going to be peace in your home. If there's no peace in your home, there's not going to be peace on your street. Like, I love the way that you say that, because for me, the way that I word it is your internal struggles, battle, fight, feeling is exactly how your external world shows up. So there are people out there right now that are so immersed in the politics situation that's going on, the fraud, the death, the wars, things like that. And they're literally seeing that. Now, I know obviously we've got these situations going on around the world, but it's like we get consumed by these things. And when you have zero attachment to that stuff, it just doesn't appear in your world. Like, I was doing a video, I don't know, maybe it was Conscious Conversations the other night or something, and I'm like chatting away about stuff, and then they're like, you do realize that's the week of the elections, Lucy? And I'm like, no, I don't. Why would I know that? Like, it's not in my consciousness. And people might listen to it and be like, well, you're a bit ignorant. How do you not know what's going on around the world? But the truth of the matter is, it's, your world is created from the inside, and I just don't need to know that stuff. Like, I know they're two wings of the same bird. Like, why would I invest in that? I want to create abundance. I want to create peace. I want to create love in my heart, so that that's what I experience inside and out. And by default, when I hang out with people like Kev, or, you know, any of my friends or my family, they're going to experience that too.
Yeah, that's how the world changes. Well, it's, we said about it, when everyone's sitting there, they watch the news. It's, TV is a distraction. The food people eat is a distraction. And all this, and as soon as you spend a lot of your life teaching people how to release trauma. By journaling, people journal their emotions away and what's been playing on the mind. You're eating the right nutrition. It makes it easier for the individual person to hit 0 point. And then,
Love that.
and the best description I ever heard of what 0 point is, it's symbolically of the tree of life. Yeah. So 0 points where all possibilities are available. Every resonance resonates at one point. So then when you've journaled emotions away and you're on a nutritious diet, when you go into a meditation, you become the tree. You become the stump of the tree of life. And your third eye opens and your crown opens, and it's all the branches come sprouting out here, and it's every possibility. It's every possibility becomes available to you for the next step you want to take. And that's what 0 point is. It's the creation, it's a spark inside everybody.
I love that.
And it's just about people activating and seeing which direction they want to go in.
I love that. And what's really interesting is I've been working on my second book this morning, and I was actually talking about the experience of me at the Tree of Life. And it's really although I didn't speak about it in the book because it's not going to go in there, but the images were just coming through my head as you were talking. And you're absolutely right, Kev. If you think about the way that nature works, the way that trees work, if the tree that's next to you is starting to lose branches and it's starting to die, if you were the tree that was starting to die, I would send you nutrients to revitalize you, to revamp you, because I'm still good. So I then send it over to you. And this is how we work through the roots. So what you just said is, you need to be the literal tree. You need to feed yourself properly. You need to speak to yourself properly. You need to love yourself. And this is essentially my 12-month program, right? Self-love membership, self-love club. Like literally, we go on the journey of every single little piece of the puzzle, and we just start to connect it. We can't fix it in 12 months because it's taken you 30, 40 years to unfix it, to break it completely. But it's about getting the consciousness back into our world of all these different pieces of the puzzle that need to come together. And then, like you say, when you start to take minimal little steps forwards with the right nutrients, which I know is something that you've started doing recently, speaking to yourself lovingly, which again, I know you've started to do recently, connect to your heart, which again, I know since Soul School, that's changed massively for you. You know, like literally Kevin is a totally different person, ladies and gents. It's brilliant. Like, it's amazing. The conversations we have these days, it's amazing. And I'm going to get him at Soul School this time as well. Just so you know, ladies and gents, I've got something in my mind that I need to do with this man. So I'm going to get him at Soul School this time, in a good way, by the way. But it's all of these pieces of the puzzle, because then what happens is you find your inner peace. So what I didn't realize, and the language that I've never used before, is when I physically went through what is now my 12-month program, but I didn't know it at the time because it was just intuition, I reached 0 point. I stopped caring. I stopped fighting. I stopped having to be right. I stopped, the stories that were going on in my mind. I felt better. I looked better. I exercised better. I had more energy. And all of these pieces of the puzzle came together so I could get to 0 point.
Yeah. And then since you've hit 0 point, you've walked your path, and you've been spreading. And the message you put out every time is ways of getting other people to join you 0 point. And it's only through that way we change the world.
Exactly. And we don't need, and I'd like your opinion on this. I haven't forgotten, we're going to come back to the savior thing, but I'd like your opinion on, I don't think we need everybody on board at 0 point to change the world. I think we need a very small percentage. What's your thoughts on that?
I agree. I don't think it doesn't need 90% of the world. It doesn't need 80% of the world. There's a theory by a man called Dr. Hawkins, which I've always read about. And it's like if you think of a pie chart, you only need a quarter, a third of the world even, just for the way it'll spread. Its love would spread.
Yeah.
So even by you being on your own, even if no one else was around you, and you were sat in an hotel, so just by you being you, the other 200 people sat in that hotel would feel your vibration.
Vibration, yeah.
And then in which case, even if they might not believe in 0 point, or they might not believe in that path, but then they'll leave that hotel feeling better and lighter. You can spread happiness and bring joy to the world by little things, just by saying hello to someone at the bus stop, or just open the door for someone when they stood there, and then they've gone out, they're in a better mood, they'll open the door for somebody else. Love spreads, and it's in a simple way that it does.
It does. I love that. I always love the imprint. I did this test once on an underground in London. I can't remember what I was doing there. It was definitely after I quit corporate, but I remember it so significantly. I had to go in really early to get somewhere. God knows where I was going. And I remember saying to myself on the train from Surrey into Waterloo that day, right, I'm going to sprinkle kindness wherever I go, but I'm not going to spend a penny on it. And literally, from the minute that I got on the train, I said good morning to somebody, because, London language, good morning. If I said grand risings, they'd be like, crazy woman. So I said good morning to them. And then what I noticed is when this person got off the train 2 stops later, they said good morning to the people as they passed. And I was like, fascinating. And then one of them got on the train. And so I smiled at them and I said, are you having a good day? And it's only like 6:30 in the morning at this time. And they're like, yeah, it started really well, because I've already pre-framed that it's going to be a good day. So they're doing that. And then what happens is, which is really unusual in London, is people start talking to each other in my carriage. And I'm sat there and I'm like, this is gold, absolute gold. And then when I got off the train, I was like, bye, being really, and they were all like, oh, wasn't she a nice girl? Like, oh, wasn't she crazy? Like, whatever they said, but they were talking and they were like, oh, and they were engaging with each other, little bit of sprinkle. Then I went on to the underground. So I got off at Waterloo, went down to the Jubilee line, and I was getting on the Jubilee line, heading over to Stratford, and for something, God knows what. And I remember I was on this tube and everyone was like male workers, if that makes sense. So it was like your carpenters, your plumbers, your electricians, like your tradesmen. That's the word I'm looking for, not your men workers. Makes it sound like it's some sort of sex thing, isn't it? Oh yeah, ladies of the night, these are the men of the morning. So they're just, and they're all heads down for, earphones in and whatever. And I just smiled at one of them. And he looked down and he looked back up and he just shot me this massive smile. And I said, are you having a good day? And he had his earphones in and he took them out and he was like, sorry, love, what did you say? And I said, are you having a good day? He said, I'm having a better day now, thank you. My morning started really badly, but your smile has just changed my day, thank you. And I said to him, will you do me a favour with that smile? And he said, oh, typical woman, always wants something. I said, please just give it out to as many people as you see today. And he looked at me and he just said, that I can do. And no word of a lie, by the time I'd gone from Waterloo to Stratford, which is maybe 5-7 stops, something like that, like everybody on the tube was talking. And when I got off, the initial man said to me, you're an earth angel. And I just said, what you see is what you are. And I left. People are so caught up in their distractions that they've forgotten that they are 0 point. They are the present moment. You don't have to be constantly scrolling. You don't have to be constantly searching for something. Everything you need is within. All the rest of it is just pure distractions. So I love that you said about the kindness and things like that, Kev, because it's so important that we recognize that kindness doesn't need to cost money.
No, it doesn't. And like you're just saying then, one act of smiling to someone, you've impacted, what, 600 people that day, a few hundred people that day,
and it cost me nothing.
Yeah, and it cost you nothing. It's not, you've not had to go out your way for it. You were there anyway. You just give someone a smile. It's being nice. Being nice doesn't cost anything. It's nice to pass it on.
Yeah. Now, some people would say, yeah, but whenever I'm nice, I get treated badly. Like people walk all over me, blah, blah, blah. Like, what would you say to somebody about that? Because obviously that's not 0 point. That is stepping into victimhood. That's stepping into ego, So what would you say to that?
I'd say it's all part of a process. I'd say no one I've ever met has smiled at someone and then got abuse or not been treated good for it. If you went down the street and smiled at someone and then they started hurling a load of abuse at you, I think that person needs the problems with that person. It's not with you as an individual.
Exactly.
And it's that fear people have to get over. So it's like we say people sat on the train and they've got their earphones in. It's like a fear that's been instilled into society. No one wants to engage with the person next to them, just in case they think, oh, what if they think I'm nuts because I smiled at them? What if they think this? What if they think that? A lot of people are lonely in the world, and we social creatures.
Kevin, I love what you've just said there. I love it, because what I've done recently is I'm working with a lot of men at the moment. I've got a lot of men coming into my life and I'm doing a lot of work with them. And a lot of men are saying to me, I daren't speak to a woman because I get accused of this, or I get accused of that, or what if she accuses me? And I'm like, what on earth has this world come to? Like, they've created such a divide whereby a man feels slimy if he just says hello or smiles at a woman. Like, what on earth has taken place?
It's the world's nuts. I know I do some work in the shop, and I'm like the energy healer I do. But it's even sometimes with me, you stood there, you're waiting, and you in the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh, if I say this to this girl, I'll say that. It's always comes on the back of your mind. It's something the way societies have been built up, and it's been built up to divide. So this world won't change as long as it's just a man in charge of it. If it's just a man in charge of the country, it'll never be any different. And I've said to you before, it's a unity between the two. When there's a unity between the male and the female, that's where the change comes. There's two different perspectives, there's two different ideas. And I've said to you before, if there was someone to run the country, I think it should be a joint enterprise. I think it should be a masculine and a feminine for the 2 points of view.
Yeah.
And that's how I've always thought things should proceed.
Yeah. Neither side. I mean, I know we've all got both energies, but neither side is better than the other. You know, you absolutely need, you absolutely need the man, because it's like no, I'm the protector, I'm the hunter, I'm the gatherer. So you've got that mindset, but you've also got the kindness and the softness of the feminine, which I'm not saying feminine is weak, by the way, ladies or gents. I'm saying, like, I can be the toughest warrior on the planet. If I have to be, I can be, but I can also surrender and say, look, we need to bring in the love. We need to bring in the authenticity. We need to be, looking at it. And I agree with what you say. It's very much about balancing us back out. Now, just going back a little bit, we were talking, and, we're talking about how we've become disconnected from each other and everything, but that has happened at the crux because we were disconnected from ourselves. It's been separation to self since we were born. Kevin, you're not pretty enough. Kevin, you're not, you haven't got blue enough eyes. Kevin, you've lost too much weight. Or Kevin, it's literally like, you're never going to be good enough.
Yeah.
Literally, you are never going to be good enough from the get-go. Now, babies come into the world, oh, aren't they beautiful? Aren't they this? Aren't they that? And then the next thing, oh, we've got a bit chubby. Or why is it so skinny? And literally from birth, here, do this to your child, buy this for your child, give this to your child, and it's distract, rather than remembering we are divinely perfect as we are, and we are born with 0 point.
Yeah.
Our moment of creation is that.
Yeah, that's it. That 0 point is the creation. That's why, if you ever go back through it, children up until about the age of 4 or 5, they're in full contact with the spiritual side. They can see their ancestors. They know their third eyes are fully open. It's only then when we start integrating them into society, we put them in schools, we put them in this, that, and the other. With the family unit breaking down, they moved, and then we spend our time disconnecting them from that.
Yeah.
From that way of life.
Yeah.
As adults, we take our children away from 0 point.
Yeah.
And then expect miracles, and when we're putting pressures on them, it's like I say, it's a sorry state of affairs when it all comes down to it, how society's gone.
And it's even in the extracurricular activities that kids do, at 4 or 5 years of age in the UK, I know it's different ages across the world, but at 4 or 5 years of age, depending on when you're born, you get launched into school where you get indoctrinated. You then come out of school and you have to go dancing, and you have to go to football, and you have to do this and you have to do that because it's the done thing. So the family unit, as you just said, has been completely detached from coming back together. How was your day? What do we need to do? How do we learn? How are we going to create, this loving environment together? It's constantly on the go. Parents are constantly having to put their hands in their pockets and pay out for things that they can't bloody afford, especially now. Things are crazy, right? Crazy prices around the world. So what they've done is just create more division. Oh, the father or the mother will have to go out and work more hours. So everything is designed to take us away from the present moment that we are in.
Yeah.
And this is why Soul School is essential, because for that day, that 2 days, that 3 days, whatever it is, going forwards, it's about bringing it into the exact present moment and recognizing, oh, there's that noise. Right, okay, I'm going to bring that back in. Oh, there's that noise again. Oh, I'm going to bring it back in. like, because the only thing that we have is returning to what I call Christ consciousness, what we're talking about as being 0 point today, and bringing it into alignment so that we know we've had our past, but we're in the present moment with the remembrance of the past and the excitement of the future, but we're in this present moment, trusting that it's all going to work out divinely beautifully for all of us.
It will. It's written about through the years. It's the only way the world can move forward is Christ consciousness moving in. It's as soon as there's love and there's happiness, like we said earlier, it'll spread. And so it wouldn't matter if they were, when you go back to your earlier question, how many people in the world would it take? It might only take an handful. It's
that are truly authentic, because that's the thing.
Authentic. If you're truly authentic with it, a handful of people could change the world. It's the seed from which mighty oaks grow. It's a fundamental belief of what the Druids believed. It's what the Egyptians believed at the start of it all. It's one person can change the world. Everyone, you hear it enough. As long as that one person's not distracted, one person can change this world. And it has to come from being authentic, and it has to come from the heart.
Yeah, and it is happening.
Yeah, it is happening.
That's the truth.
See it happening all over. See it happening.
Exactly. I mean, it's even just like looking on social media, what people are posting, what people are talking about now, like it's happening if you are open to being it in your world. Like if you are creating mayhem and all the rest of it, then obviously it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in the way that it needs to happen, but like it's available for all of us. And to your point, Kev, it is Christ consciousness. And I just want to loop back a little bit now, because what we spoke about is obviously 0 point Christ consciousness. The goal is Christ consciousness. Now, this is going to trigger some people. There's a lot of people that don't see it as being Christ consciousness, about bringing that energy back in. They are literally waiting for someone or something to show up and be that thing that is external to us, which isn't external to us, it's internal for us. We're looking for a third party to bring it to the party for us. Yeah. What's your thoughts on that?
I think, careful how I say this.
I know, that's why I'm throwing it to you.
That fundamentally boils down to laziness on the individual. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to process the emotions they've got stored. They're like, I'll sit here and some magical being will come from the sky and he'll fix it all for me. It's why people vote in the elections, really. It's like, I won't make a change, I'll vote for this bloke and he'll fix it. And it never does. And I've said to you before, I don't see how it would change if say, Jesus, an alien, anyone you want, comes floating down from the sky on a big chariot and says, right, do what I'm telling you, and the world will be totally different. That's the definition of slavery. That's me getting on my knees and worshipping someone else. What's different with that world to the world we live in now, where people tell me I'm not allowed to go in or I'm not allowed to go there because it's lockdown? There's no difference in that world.
And dictatorship is not a high vibration.
No.
So why are we saying, people that have done really nasty things in the past? I was going to say the name, but I know somebody had their video taken down for somebody mentioning the name before. But you can imagine who I'm talking about. Begins with H and ends in R. He was a pretty nasty man. He had a bit of shit around the world, many years ago. Like, imagine... like, people are like, no, that person was really bad. That person was really bad. But they don't realize that what they're willing in is actually another person to come around and tell them what to do. And it's the same, but different. Okay, maybe on a completely different scale, but it's the same. We're waiting for somebody to tell us what to do. Yet we're saying that this person was bad for saying what they told people to do, because now we know it to be bad. But at the time, did the people know it to be bad? Or did the people think, well, maybe this is actually the truth?
Yeah. Well, we've said for a long time, history is written by the side that wins. It was, I've gone through it after careful how the scripture is, but I'll refer to the Bible, right? So we've got the New Testament. We've got Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. People read these, they believe it word for word.
Yeah.
But what people don't realise is there was 12 disciples. Each one of them wrote a gospel. So you can get Gospel of Thomas, Mary Magdalene. You get the Gospel of Judas, and all these gospels that weren't allowed into the narrative and the mainstream view of it. In the Gospel of Thomas, it sits down. It says, as Christ spoke, Christ told Thomas that the kingdom of heaven's not in the sky, the kingdom of heaven's not in the water, the kingdom of heaven's within you. These are.
But this has been removed.
Right? Books found in the Nag Hammadi libraries. But all this part of the story has been cut out. And it's been a power grab. So that people like who live in the Vatican, like the Pope in the Vatican, they become the gatekeepers to your saviour. You go and worship this person, you give these people your money, and they'll tell you. They'll take money off you. It's a power grab. It's just a distraction from what you have always really needed to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I like the way that you explained it then, because we have to be, there's a lot of people out there that are very much finger pointing about things that are happening right now and things that have been happening for the last 3 to 4 years. I mean, if we're getting close to the 4-year mark now, aren't we? Yeah. Can't believe we're in November, by the way. Like, well, how did that happen? But they're not recognizing that these loops are exactly the same as the people back then were probably going through. And we got to stop being so judgmental about that.
Yeah, it does. I've said I don't judge anyone. I've said that about the Gospel of Thomas and where the description of where 0 point is and what my belief is on 0 point. If someone doesn't believe me, I'm not going to hate that person. It's their view. I always think of it people have been that closed off to different views and opinions. It's another way of causing division.
Well, you've been indoctrinated, right? If you literally are like, my way is the only way, then hello. Like, how can your way be the only way? Like, we've got 8 billion people living around the world, and yours is the only right one?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. You see it in the Buddhist texts when they talk about the ways to get to the top of the mountain, and it's limitless. There's no right or wrong answer in any of this. There's multiple ways, and then people start getting closed-minded because you won't accept a different viewpoint, or like they won't accept a different viewpoint. That's part of the problem. That's part of the traumas we need to get rid of. That's why there's so much division in this world. It's why there's wars. When it boils down to it, different points of view, different religions, different belief structures, and that's the fundamental reason there's been wars in this world for the last 2,000 years.
Exactly.
Before that, there was relative peace. But he believes one thing, he believes another thing. Go and kill each other over it. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it's this turning on each other as well, isn't it? The spiritual community is doing it at the moment. The truther community has been doing it, like even in our lifetime, look at how everybody is turning everything on each other. And, with all due respect, like what we perceive to be the powers that be must be laughing at us. Oh, here we go again. We're back in the same loop as we were in 4 years, and they're all still so entrenched in it, rather than just literally being like, we don't care anymore. We don't care. We're going to create our world. We're going to live in our own 0 point. And, how that unfolds is going to unfold.
Yeah, it's the power of the people. So I know we go through the truth of community and the conspiracies. They say there's 10 families, 12 families, whatever it is at the top. And then there's 8 billion people underneath them. They managed to stay in power by causing this division.
We've given them the power.
Yeah, we've given them the power. I spoke to you about it a week. We can take the power back anytime we want. It's as soon as if everyone in the country turned around and said, "Oh, I'm never voting again," or "I'm not going to work on Monday morning," the full matrix, the full conditions we've all been brought up into since we were little children would collapse within the space of a week. You get on a full reset. You get a global 0 point instead of a personal one. And this is what people are doing. The people at the top are just sat there thinking, "I'll tell this group of people this. I'll release this over there." Next thing you know, you've got 5 million people in England arguing over what's right and wrong, and no one sees what's going on. It's all division.
Exactly. And that's why Gaia is purging like she is at the moment, because she's desperate to get her 0 point back. She's ready to, and this is why a lot of people are checking out. They're committing suicide. They're dying randomly. You know, I'm hearing about it constantly at the moment. People are just, "Oh my God, that person's just dropped down dead. This person's dead." And they're checking out because, you know, the alternative is to continue to dig deep right now, you know, and we're lucky that we've got so many amazing souls on the planet that are willing to dig deep. Because I do believe that this catalyst, it doesn't need to be the biggest percentage of people, but we all do need to make a stand. We all do need to make decisions, you know?
We do.
Yeah.
We really do. It's getting to the point where people have got to draw a line in the sand. You've got to
decide which side of the fence they're on, and just, you know, just go with whatever it is. You don't have to prove to the other side. You don't have to be right. Just get on with it.
Yeah. Just go live your path. If people want to believe aliens are going to come and land on the White House lawn and save the world, or Jesus is going to come riding in on a cloud, then fine. I don't not like you for it, but just become the best you can be. That's all they have to do. Follow their own belief structure, become the best they can be, and then they don't have to try and influence anyone else. And if we all just try to be the best we can be, then we change the world anyway. So it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, absolutely. But we do need to take action on it, right? Like we can sit there and be like, "Jesus is coming to save me. He's going to rise up and he's going to save me." But okay, what are you doing to encourage Jesus here? Are you being the best person? Are you being kind enough? You know, are you helping charities? Because that's, you know, the perceived behavior that you have to do to bring Jesus into your life. You know, so if that's what you truly believe, what you're doing to will him here, like, let's get off our butts. I don't think Jesus is coming. I don't think anything like that is going to happen. I believe Christ consciousness is going to rise, authenticity and love is going to rise, and that's going to be the turning point of the planet. I don't believe anybody, not Trump, not Biden, not blooming, none of them are coming to save us. It's down to us. That's my own personal belief. So.
Well, you know, I share that same belief with you.
We've had some powerful conversations over the months, haven't we? We really, really have on these kind of subjects. I love speaking to you, Kevin. I could do it all day, but I think that's amazing. I think the points that we've shared here are bringing the new terminology up to people, that we are there. Also the opportunity that we've got to reach that point, you know, like just because today you're feeling really present, and, you know, like where I am is stunning. It's very difficult to not be present when you're like this, but here I am doing a video. So am I fully present? The answer is no, but as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to be going out. I'm going to be immersing in nature. I'm going to be allowing the sunshine to hit my face. And so again, I will be back in that present moment. So we just need to make the choices that are serving us, because we are capable of changing the world on our own, like Kevin said earlier. I love talking to you.
Yeah, I love chatting back. It's been a nice afternoon.
We will do another video soon.
Sunnier there than where I am.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say about me: wherever the wanderess goes, the weather follows her. And
that's it.
I've got to be honest, it's definitely seeming to be the case at the moment, which I'm very, very happy about. So, Kevin, thank you so much for your time, your love and your efforts. Ladies and gents, if you want to touch base with Kevin around having some healing or whatever, or you want to know where his shop is, please do check out his details below, and you can, I don't know how it works with Kev, but you can chat to him and get booked in. All right, I'll pop his social medias down as well, guys, so that you can reach out and have those conversations. Kevin, my love, I will see you on Sunday. I look forward to it. And ladies and gents, I'll be back with another video super soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Bye.
Lots of love, guys. Bye bye.